Welcome back, wannabes and creators, to another episode of The Business of Art, the podcast that attempts to demystify business for artists. Today on the program, we have Eva Lacy. Eva, I hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I butchered it. Eva is a fantastic artist in her own right, but I had her on the program to talk about Fan Alley, which is her roving and roaming Fan Alley Con experience that hits a bunch of places around Los Angeles and Orange County. But I really had Eva on the show for one reason. I tabled next to her at a con recently, and she did something I've only seen a couple of times before. She engaged with her audience. She laughed with them. She asked them questions. She got them engaged in the conversation. She had a good time. And I love that because so often I table next to artists that seem like they're being tortured for just being there. So it was great to see Eva having a great time, and she made a ton of money there. So I wanted to have her on the show to talk about Fan Alley and her own con experience. Before we get started, let me thank our new sponsor. You heard me talking about Crowdster before, and they just launched a new product called TweetBuzz, which is everything I love about Crowdster with none of the crowdfunding. It is just a great way and a very easy and cost-effective way to build your audience on Twitter. And if you go to thebusinessofart.us/tweet, you can start a free 7-day trial. And then, if you want to keep going, it's just $24.99 a month after that. Crowdster was a great value at $49, and this is even a better value at $24.99. So head on over to thebusinessofart.us/tweet and check out everything that TweetBuzz can offer you today. And with that, take it away, Eva. Tell us what you're passionate about these days.
I am passionate about sharing art with not just the public, but people that basically, if my friends or acquaintances that I know are amazing at what they're doing and they don't know how to market themselves, I'm passionate about getting their work out there when I believe in them. Of course, I fall in those lines because I'm also an artist, so I just think it's really important to remember, you can go and buy the art from your favorite artists and all that, but then there's so many underground artists we don't know about that are killing it, and they just don't know how to get out there. So that's what I strive to do. Yeah. So that's my jam right there.
I love that because that's my jam too, is the marketing part of it. And you do something that I've maybe seen 3 other artists do ever in all the time I've been to shows, which is you actually have a conversation with the people that walk by your booth.
It is a very rare talent that artists have, if they do have it. And no, I get really, really, really upset watching artists. Why would somebody want to buy your art if you don't even believe in it enough to talk about it? There's a way to do it non-cocky. There's a way just to be passionate about it and share that passion and make somebody else fall in love. And these guys are like getting booth babes. And I'll walk up to somebody like I have followed forever, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to meet them. And I get to their booth, and they're just totally non-social people, which I get, it doesn't take away from their talent, but it also just doesn't make me excited for them anymore. So what cracks me up is I'll do a show and I'll sell $300 worth of stuff. And I am literally, when I say nobody, I don't mean it in a mean way to myself, but I'm no one. I don't have any major following. I have my dedicated few fans, I would say like 3, that show up to pretty much everything I sell at. But I stand up, I talk to people, I engage, and guess what? I sell a lot of stuff because I get all excited about it. And then they're like, yeah, I sold like $100 worth of stuff. It sucked. And I'm like, well, what did you do? Did you make it fun? Were you excited about it? And they don't, and that's the difference. They're not even excited about selling their stuff. They just want the art to speak for itself, and it's like they want to meet the person behind it. So thank you for seeing that, because I'm all about selling yourself, and if you're not social, you need to figure out a way to do it, like with games. I'll put like marbles in a jar and be like, how many marbles are in there, and I'll give you a free print if you guess it, and it just kind of like creates the conversation,
Right, exactly, because that's what it's about at a show, right? I mean, what it's about is meeting the person behind the art, whether that's Stan Lee or whether that's you. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have like come to me at a show and I've said, hey, do you like comics? And had a conversation with them, and they'll buy like $60 worth of stuff and be like, you're the first person who said anything to me at this show.
Yep. And you have no idea that's really going on. You think all of them are doing that and pitching and again, it's not a pitching like a sales thing. You're just trying to get to know the people. And at a con, I'm like, these are your people. Freaking talk to us. Like, I'm obsessed with what you're doing. Talk to me about it. And they're just heads down or they're on their cell phone. And it's just, there's this wall. And I've literally stopped buying from about 3 people. And one guy, unnamed, I bought a $50 art book from him. I pre-ordered it, and he was like, oh, if you show up to, CTN, you can pick up the book, because he was from some other state. And I was like, sweet, that saves on shipping, cool. So I showed up. I walked up to him, and I was like, dude, I'm like one of your biggest fans. Watch all your YouTube videos, da-da-da. He goes, cool. Turned around and away from me, and he had no one in his booth, so it was really weird. And then I almost wanted to be like, hey, can I get my $50 back, by the way? And you can just sell my book to somebody else, because it just made me feel like he just was miserable, and again, I get it, not everyone's social like me, but it's important to be in that business. And if you're gonna get a booth, guess what, you got to do the work.
Or you have to not complain, right? Like, you have to not complain about it. Like, this is sort of like elections, right? Like, you can vote and complain all you want, but if you don't vote, you can't complain.
Exactly.
That's the same way, like, if you're at a booth and you're sitting there moping, terrible, like head down, not talking to people, you have no excuse. But if you're out there talking to people and no one's buying still, then you can be like, oh, maybe this is not the best show I've ever been at.
Exactly. And it sucks that that's the case. I mean, like I said, this guy, I was like ordering prints from him and never met him. And then when I met him, that year worth of following him and being like so dedicated was done in a second. In 1 second, I was like, nope, he's a prick. And like, I walked away. And he's probably a really nice guy, with people he's comfortable around. But he gave me, and I'm spending my money on him, money that most of us don't have living in LA and Orange County. We're like, I can barely afford rent, but I'm willing to buy this art book because I support you and what you're about. So with my shows, I'm very much like, hey, it's affordable, so you can't complain about making your booth fee back, and like, you're going to enjoy yourself and get to know other artists. The amount you're paying is not just to sit there and go, what do I get out of this? I paid $25 for my table. Now where's my money? You're also paying for the marketing, the networking, the being in like a room with other people. So you better get out of your chair and actually do some work. And I like to create that atmosphere. So I think I'm hoping that's what helps with my shows is we create like a family and a community, and you start to see the same artists so they get really comfortable with each other. And I've seen like 3 people really, really grow over the last like 6 months that we've been like really doing shows with them. And I can't believe from where they started to where they are now, just because the people I work with are really nice. So I'm like, if you're a jerk and you're sitting at your booth with an unhappy face, guess what? I probably won't take you to the next show, because it's just like you said, you got to do the work. You got to be willing to be a nice person and be passionate about what you're selling, because it's you. So, yeah, I don't know. I could go on and on about how much I dislike people not talking and getting booth babes.
Well, do you think that it's about them being introverted, or do you think it's about them not wanting to learn how to sell? Because they're 2 very different things. Like, there are people, and they're the vast minority of people who like can't learn. I don't even think that there's anyone that can't learn. I think that if you're doing this job and you're going to cons, like, you have to learn. Just like if I said, hey, you have a job coding Python, like, you need to learn Python. Sorry, like, it's a part of your job. Like, you know Python, but you don't know how to use a computer. Like, you have to learn the computer. It's part of the job. Like, you can't code on a sheet of paper.
Absolutely.
So, like, what do you think that it's more people, like, just being, like, disposed to being introverted, or do you think it's people that, like, refuse to learn it?
I think that's a really good question. I would say on my end, in all my years of doing this, I would say about 80% are just introverts, like a typical artist, like how artists are always late or flaky. And I'm one of them. So don't get me wrong. I'm not like calling people out. I'm just saying it's just our creative minds. We like organized chaos almost. And so I think that's more of it is just they sit in their rooms, they draw, they hide behind the digital screen or post photos of their art, and they don't really talk to people and themselves. So when they go to a show, they're like, oh my gosh, I have to actually like stand behind what I'm doing and be proud of it. I don't know how to do it. And like, I don't know if I'm good enough, kind of also being scared of it. Like, like most of us artists were like, is it good enough? Or even writing a book or comic or whatever, you're just like, oh, what are they going to think? But then the ones that just don't want to learn and they're just there, yeah, I do think that's a good percentage of it is people just not wanting to learn that part. They just want the art to move. Like, I know I'm good. I'm just going to put my art in print, packages and put it on the table, and people are going to pick it up and buy it. And then, like you said, complain after that they didn't do good at a show. And it's like, dude, if you're going to put yourself out there, you talk to people. So I can definitely see how it's both, but I think most of it's introvert just from the ones I've worked with, or not thinking they're good enough. They want to do what's cool. Like nowadays, being an artist alley is a huge deal. Like everyone's doing it, but in the past, it wasn't really you didn't know how to get into a con. You thought you had to be like some famous comic book writer to do a convention. And so now people are getting more into it, and they're like, oh, but am I good enough? I don't know if I'm good enough. And they compare themselves to other people. And so what my thing is like, dude, if you apply to a show and you get in, some of them, some of the shows, they just want your money. But there's shows like mine where I only take what I think is amazing and what my audience is going to go after. And if you've been accepted into a show, obviously we like what you've got, So I encourage artists to be a little bit more proud of what they're doing. And again, in a non-cocky way. Because those people that are like, oh, I'm the most amazing, and, I do this all the time, and you tend to, not want to talk to those people. So it's a balance.
You know what's funny is, I started saying, in my pitch that the books are awesome. I'm like, hey, this is what the book's about, and they're awesome. And, I'm telling you, I think I've increased sales by 25% just being and they're awesome.
Yes. People come up to my table, and my main thing is monsters and Sasquatches, right? And they're like, what is this? Because I make little Sasquatch creatures. I'm like, Sasquatches, because why not? And I'm joking. It's almost sarcasm or getting them excited, because you also have to tell people what to do, unfortunately, without pitching it. You got to tell them this is really cool. If you don't stop and see this, you're crazy, you're missing out. And they usually giggle and laugh. And when I watched you at your table, I could feel how excited you were about what you're doing. And it didn't come off any which way I'm incredible and my stuff's incredible and you're an idiot if you walk away. It was just more fun. What else do you have? Tell me about it. I'm excited because you're excited, so I must be in the right place. So yeah, you saying it's awesome. Well, of course, because it is. And you'd be lying. It'd be false advertisement if you said my book sucks. Don't look at it.
Right, but to go back to the thing that's it's weird because just by saying someone looks at it and you're really excited, right? I'm talking about the book, I'm pitching it, and then by just being and don't worry, it's also awesome. People are like, oh, okay. I was worried, and sometimes I'll be like, I do this full time, so it's awesome enough for me to support myself doing it. That's how much I believe in it. And part of me, that's what you want to hear, right? As do you believe in this thing? I'm going to spend my money on it, but if you're not talking to me or engaging or excited about this thing, why am I buying this Harley Quinn print instead of one of the other 5 million that look equal?
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And that's the other thing is, using your voice to really kind of get other people's feedback on your stuff. When I first started, it was, I want to say WonderCon was my first big artist alley show, and I was it was DesignerCon, and I was so nervous because it was my first time doing a huge convention. I had no idea what to do. I had no idea who else. I mean, I had followed a few people that have done it and bowed down to them. And then I got there, and I had no idea that people would take to my characters based on how many, Kid Robot and Tokidoki stuff, and all this stuff was everywhere. I'm like, why me? But talking to them, they were like, oh, these terrariums are cool, and I like that they're faux plants. so I don't have to water them because I suck at that. And so that I started to really grasp, like, okay, they do like these. Okay, I'm going to make more of these. And I sold out in the first day. That when I went to WonderCon, I was totally prepared. However, Felicia Day bought from me. And like to this day, I'm like, Felicia Day, you posted about it, but you didn't say who the artists were that you bought from. No, it's all right. I'm gonna let it pass. But you know, like she bought from me, so of course I couldn't judge that. Next day, everyone was passing me, going, "Hey, I saw this on her post." But beside her, that first day, I sold out again at WonderCon. And I thought the terrarium thing was kind of out, but it was the way I was throwing in my monsters into the terrariums and making them faux plants so nobody had to worry about them because I've got a green thumb. But it was talking to people. It was like, what do you like? What would you like to see more of? Is there anything you're into? If you could do a custom one, what would you want? You know, and I was able to like know what to go and spend my money on and buy more of. And my prints kind of just sat there. They all wanted the little figurines. So like you with books, I mean, if it's an investment for you, you want to get their feedback and see what people are thinking. And if you're just sitting behind your table, you'll never know that. You're not going to see what's moving because nobody wants to buy from the quiet person. It becomes awkward for everybody. And
I think that's so funny because I was talking to one of my friends and she's like, she just posted like, which of these 10 pitches is the best log line? And I said, you know what, the best thing to do is like go get a table at one of these shows. I gave her like a list of shows. Is like go and pitch it. Go and pitch all 10 of them. See which one sticks.
Yep,
and that will be the one that you do.
That's right. And even doing again something fun on your table, like what one of these 3 prints are your favorite? Put in your vote, and you get a chance to win something. Like just to get people's feedback because people want something for free, and it sucks as an artist or a writer or something trying to get a new product out and you're struggling, you're like trying to sell it. But I find that just getting that survey from people and giving them a button, they're just like so happy to do it. And then they think you're awesome. And then you just build it from there. Like my first year, I was like, I will make free buttons for you if you come to my table. And people are like, no way, what's the catch? I'm all, no catch. You just stop to actually look at my stuff. That's the most important thing. You don't have to buy anything. There's no obligation. It's that if you get that awkward, I don't want to go into their booth because then they're going to talk to me and I'm not going to buy anything. And it's just, everyone's been there. We've been on the other side that you've got to like break that, you know, tension of, you know, just to get them into your booth, intrigue them. And so usually people are walking by and I just smile and go, what's up? You want to play a game? What's up? You want to take a survey? I'll get you something. Like I get really goofy. That's my approach to people, is to make them laugh. But no joke, by the end of a show, I will have like repeat people from the first day I did a convention. They'll just keep coming back. So like, I remember she gave me something for free, but then they buy something from me. So that little free button that cost me, 25 cents to make, they felt like I did something for them. But at the end of the day, they become a follower. And what I have been using a lot is Periscope and Instagram to say like, you know, I post a picture and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be on Periscope. Come follow me and I'll do a free giveaway. Then they jump to Periscope and I'll say like, okay, this is the giveaway, is this fan art that you love, but I need help painting it. What color do you think I should make their shirt? And they start giving all this feedback. And at the end, I'll go, hey, I'm going to do the raffle now back on Instagram. If you watch the video, you know, you get a chance to win or something. You know, I just try to find a way to get their feedback. And once they became a part of the picture, they want to buy from me in the future. They're like, oh, I was the one that picked out that he was wearing a purple shirt. Do you remember me? And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And they're like, I want to order something. And I'm like, yes, because I involve them. So those are all tricks.
Not only that, but like those are all fantastic. But not only that, but like if you do a print of that thing, you just crowdsourced exactly what the most popular color and everything is. So all the people that watched it and didn't win will probably want that one too.
Still want it. That's it. So yes.
Like it's so funny because like everyone thinks about sales as this like disgusting thing, right? Like I deal with it all the time, and I was talking about, because I just launched my website or my new like personal website today, and I had to do my about me. Thank you. I had to do my about me. RussellNolte.com. I had to you know, do my about me, which I always hate doing.
Yes.
But, it's like I was thinking back in my career, and I was like, before I started doing sales, I was like, I'm just going to there's publishers and art dealers who like do all that stuff. Like I don't have to do sales. I don't have to
Yes.
learn how to sell. And then like the cold hard reality is after like a decade of like nobody wanting your crap, like you start being like, why isn't no one wanted? Oh, maybe sales isn't a bad thing. Maybe I should figure
Yep.
out what this thing really is. And like doing all of that stuff, like that's all sales and marketing, right? I mean,
Yep.
like you're not doing that for your health. You're doing to build brand loyalty. You're doing that to crowdsource a new thing. But everyone is involved in liking it. And I always say like marketing is only annoying if you don't want it.
There you go. I love that.
Well, like
Yeah.
my wife does like looks forward to every Beta brand email. If you do know what Beta brand is.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. She's like she's like she freaking loves it. Like she'll like wait 6 months to like get a thing. She'll pre-order that early. That's how much she loves this thing. And
That's
she's
awesome.
like, it's the same exact like email that Ann Taylor sends and Macy's sends and Aeropostale sends, and they send the same email. But because she wants that email, it's not annoying to her.
That's it. Yep. I mean, for me, it's like Groupon. Every time I get up in the morning, I have Groupon. I don't know why, like connected to 3 of my emails. And I'm always like, gosh, why? I just need to stop like following them on like one of my emails just to downsize how many Groupons I get. But then what happens when I'm like, yeah, I really need my eyebrows waxed. I hope they send out a really great Groupon. The first thing I'm doing is checking for the Groupon in the morning, and I'm so excited. So it depends on how you're looking at it, and I think sales can be fun. It's not like a cold like pitch thing. You're not just going up to people, and there's an approach too. If you're just like, buy my art, I've had some people really just, I don't know, it just creeped me out. I was like, it clearly looks like I'm not touching anything on your table. It's not my style. I think you're great. It's just not my thing. And they'll just keep going to where I'm missing opportunities at other tables I want to buy at. So it's another thing I try to remind people, like, don't try to force your art on people. Let them find it, but intrigue them enough to get them to come over and at least look. And then I usually say to people, and if you've ever been in my booth, you'll hear me. I go, no obligations, or I'll be like, no oblies. You guys can do whatever you want, and everybody starts laughing. But I'm just like, I don't ever want someone to feel like they have to come into my booth and do me a favor because they feel bad that they didn't buy something.
Right.
So yeah.
I used to do this thing called free crappy drawings. I still do them, but like that would get people to the booth, and it's like it's crappy, but people would buy. It would increase engagement by like 80% just because like people were like,
sure.
Like that's actually where my like the Gherkin Boy came because people like were enjoying it so much. I was like, all right, I'll make a book like with my art of it, but I'm not gonna do an art. And I did an art book, and then I did that sold out, and then I did like I was like, you realize this is my art, but literally just from engaging with those people, and that's a free offer. Like everyone does it. Like every other kind of company like will give you a free thing if you sign up for their thing.
Yep, absolutely.
And like. But instead of being like, hey, do you want 3 months free of Audible? It was, do you want a free crappy drawing? And then you get them. And then I said, I'll give you this crappy drawing. All you have to promise me is that once I'm done, you'll look at one of my books and seriously consider it. You don't have to buy it, but you have to seriously consider it. And they're like, okay. And then like it buys, it's a fun thing that I do. They get a thing. The back obviously has my contact information on it, like because I have little postcards.
It's brilliant. I love it.
But like that wasn't sales, right? Like I wasn't even talking about my work at the beginning. Just like you, like you got a button. Like it was about making a cool button. You like buttons, and then you're like, also, if you like me, maybe you'll like my work because. And when I last year, when I first started, I was like, oh, so is this your first con? They're like, yes. I was like, okay, so let me tell you what you should look for in a con exclusive. It's like first, you want to meet the artist, right?
Yeah.
Next, you want to get something you can't get anywhere else. So at the time, my books weren't online anymore. So this book is like an exclusive. We only printed this many of them. This is how many we have left. And I'll sign it. So you don't have to, for free, you don't have to sign. So like all of those things are why this is, and plus this is an awesome book.
Yeah.
Like, so you're educating, you're giving value, you're giving them a free thing, and then you're offering to sell this thing to them also that they want. And at that point, a lot of people just said, all right, I'll take one. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
you want one? You want both? They're like, I just want just one. I'm like, okay, cool. Some people be like, what's the deal for two?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, well, if you get two, it's 30. You sure it's $10 more? You get another thing. And they're like, and then some people will be like, all right, I'll get two or three or a bunch more. That's an advanced technique when you have multiple things in your table.
Of course. Oh, that's good though. Like, I mean, that's the thing. It's also just learning your own product and figuring out what works best for you, you know?
But is there
Sometimes,
a better place to learn about your product than at a show?
no. I mean, this is my all-time new favorite thing because Instagram has been helping artists a lot. It's just like, yeah, my Instagram's not really like picking up. Like, people aren't really looking at my art. Do you think anyone was really looking at my art with me just posting and not hashtagging and sharing and doing giveaways? No, nobody cared. I had to like build that audience, you know, it takes time and people just want that overnight. And okay, I'm laughing because I have like just shy of 3,000 followers and I see all these other people like 14,000 followers and I'm like, one day I'll be there. But I had to get 3,000 somehow, you know, like I have to do something to grow it. So all these artists are like, yeah, it works for other people. It doesn't work for me. Well, if you don't have any followers, of course it's not going to work. You have to actually do research and actually like promote and share and stay in touch with the people that are commenting.
Right. That's so funny because like
yeah.
that's the thing with anything. They're like, oh I do a lot of Kickstarter consulting, and they're like, I don't know. I was talking with a guy today, and I was like, I don't know if you're going to get to your number because like you got 200 Twitter followers.
Yeah.
Like you've been I know you listen to my podcast. Like why? Like I gave away the farm. Like all you had to do was listen to the things that I said, and then implement the things that I said, and you would have grown a thing. But instead, we're a week away from your Kickstarter, and you're wondering if you're going to fund. And I'm looking at your thing, and I'm like, you'll probably fund because you have a lot of goodwill in the community. But, like, man, like, you wasted a lot of golden opportunities in the last 6 months to be building this thing that everybody is going to want. And, like, people don't just magically poof come out of the air and buy things from you.
Absolutely. Oh, and touching on that, my friend, people with success that can't keep it up. And I've met about 4 or 5 artists in my years of having the store where I said, your product is so amazing. Where you are right now, you're going to like blow up. And are you going to be able to keep up with the success and the demand? And no joke, I would say only 2 of them are still doing like a great job. The other 3 was like, yeah, I just can't keep up with like Instagram and the Facebook. I'm like, look, Instagram does it for you. You just click Facebook and Twitter, share. Like I rarely am on Facebook and I'm rarely on Twitter, but Instagram is the one that like shares it to everything. And then I get my notifications and I make sure to jump on Twitter and hit reply to the few people that said, oh, I really want to buy that. Do you have more of those? And then they wouldn't give in to what people wanted. You know, they weren't willing to bend over a little and say, yes, I'm a fan art person. I do my own, because I'm a huge stickler for them changing it about 90% more than like 80% so that it becomes their style of fan art. But they'd be like, oh, I want something with Little Red Riding Hood. And they're like, no, I just don't do that. I'm like, dude, you're not only going to upset them because they're a huge fan and they're just asking you to make one of their favorite things, which again, you can turn around and sell a ton of them or charge that person an arm and a leg if they want the only one. And you just won't do it because you don't feel like it. But you could do it. You're capable. Some things I understand they don't want to step out of a certain bound. Like they're like, no, I don't do those kind of things. And I get it. But these are people I know would do any kind of fandom. They just didn't feel like doing it because they didn't have the time. And they lost followers and people were coming into my store going, he still hasn't made that, but he said he'd think about, okay. And then they kind of just didn't really care about the artist anymore. So there are the ones that actually succeed and they get so big and then they can't keep up with the demand. And I get really irritated by that. Like, if you're going to do it, go full force. Like, if people demanded 1 million Sasquatches from me, I would, like, try everything I could to make as many Sasquatches as possible. But lucky for me, it just didn't get to that point.
Well, or you raise the the price of the Sasquatch is
Exactly.
even what you can do. But I was talking about this a couple of days ago about, when you're doing this, assume if you're going to be successful, assume you're going to have to, have a consistent schedule now. So start your consistent schedule now, assuming that it's the consistent schedule you're going to have to keep. If you can't do a new painting a month, then don't start doing a painting a month now, because you're not going to do it. But like, plan for the future now. And I think that, to me, this is what I see all the time. I have a lot of business experience, and every other business it's kind of business person that I talk to, they all have a 5-year plan. They all have strategic planning. They all spend time thinking about where they want to go in the direction that they want to go in. And with creatives, this is not the case at all. Like, they don't, like with the free thing, like, a lot of people give stuff away for free, and they hate giving away stuff for free because there's no plan. Like, there's a very specific plan in business of things go from free to tripwire to core offer to profit max. Like, there's this freaking path to getting someone to buy more from you. If you just give free away forever, of course, that's going to be terrible. Every time people say, I go to a con and I'm like, did you get their email address? They just bought a thing from you. They're like, no. I'm like, then what was it for? They're like, I got $20. I'm like,
how long's that $20 going to last for?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you just paid off a tenth of your table fee, but not including the cost of the equipment. And to what end did you do that? Like, to what end did you want the $20 now, or did you want the $100 later? Like, people always wonder why I bundle stuff and give money away, do stuff when people buy multiple books, or when someone stuff from a mailing list. I'm like, it's pretty fucking simple. I'll give $5 now so that they'll spend $500 over the course of my life.
Absolutely. And that's the thing with the shows. My shows are $25. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know anywhere else where they're like an artist alley for fun, and we're bringing target audience to buy your stuff, and they're only $25 because I need to make something for my time that put into the show and the rent. Other than that, it's just to enjoy a table, have to pay a little fee and whatever. But then they're like, what do I get out of this? What's instant? And I'm like, it's not instant. You're building this relationship and hopefully showing up to the future shows, and they're coming back to pick up commissions they've done now because they knew you were going to be at the next show, and future things they want to buy. And now with freaking MailChimp app, how easy is it to bring a little iPad or something and be like, hey, just type your name in. It automatically adds you to my list. I don't even have to do the work to add all the emails from my list. There's so many apps now. And most people, when you ask them hey, you bought my stuff, they obviously like you. They're going to be willing to give you their email address. And you know what? Down the road, if they want to take themselves off it, they will. But just get it then when you can, because you obviously sold to somebody that's interested. And there's been people, and this is for me personally, I walk up and I've already spent my money, and now I'm at the end of Artist Alley, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't wish I didn't buy those things. It's just I wish I had more money to keep buying. So you know what? I'm going to follow you. So when I make more money, I'm going to buy a print from you. And I'm a pretty dedicated person. I usually buy from people outside of cons. And I'll write my email address down just so I get updates to remind me to buy from them regularly, So I agree with that, Okay, you got $20 now. That's going to buy you dinner and some gas. And then where's your investment? There's no investment. You're not even being able to put money towards your next prints.
Right. Those people that are buying this print are probably going to buy your next print, especially if you ask them, hey, what print should I do now? And 10 people say you should do this print. And if you sell it for $20, you're probably going to make $200 in the future. So I will gladly give away a free button, which costs me 20 something odd cents to get,
for sure,
or give you some money now, or if you bundle, to give more money to get you on my list in the future, because there's no reason why I would play the short game. I just spent 5 years putting together all of this knowledge, or 10 years learning what I'm doing. I have the way that artists and creators make money is back catalog. So if I build up my back catalog to 30 books, then I want you to buy all 30 effing books from
Yes.
me. And you can't buy 30 books if you bought a book one time, if you bought $20 and never bought from, and you had no way to contact me again.
That's right. Yep. And I do find I leave a lot of booths without their information. I know their cards are sitting there most of the time, but sometimes we get to talking and I walk away, but the print doesn't have anything in it. And later I'm like, I want to give a shout out to this person, but I can't even remember who it was. So if you can take a photo and let me know, that would be awesome. I usually try to remember to like grab a card and stick it in the print that I buy or a book or whatever. But
but it's not your job. Like
it's
not
my job.
your job to get them to have a way to contact them.
Exactly.
Like, it's my job to make it easy for you to contact me in the future, should you want to contact me.
Yeah.
And I'm not
absolutely.
saying you're all gonna, like, most of those people that I give money, that I give the discount to, probably are never gonna buy from me. They're probably gonna unsubscribe from my mailing list. I do have a 30% unsubscribe rate.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because the people that remain will buy more from me. So
Yep.
like, I think there's also this big perception that if like that person is going to buy everything, everybody that I give a discount to is always going to buy everything. And like, again, this is nowhere prevalent in any other kind of business. Like, no other besides creative business do people expect,
Yep.
if I have 300 Instagram fans, 300 people are going to buy everything that I put out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what used to crack me up with like my shows, is people like, where is everyone? And I'm like, well, about 200 people attended our smaller show. It is a smaller show. They go, but don't you have like 5,000 followers for your store? And I'm like, yeah, half of those are like in other countries. Then there's all these, you can't like depend on that. But you've got to always engage and always keep it fresh. And people just kind of fall off for like weeks, even months. And people just kind of don't care anymore. And that's why Patreon, which I have a Patreon for my art, is just, they're like, if you're going to do this, you have to keep giving people like photos, updates. What are you doing with your Patreon? Like, why are they giving you money? And so it's cool because it's almost, you can make it exclusive to them when you post to the pledgers, or you can make it public so anyone that visits your page to see it can see like what kind of giveaways you've been doing for your pledgers, like all that. But they're reminding you, like, make sure you're staying up to date, because people will stop pledging when you kind of disappear. And when you're trying to sell on Instagram and all that, you start to disappear, people forget about you. And are we allowed to mention artist names if they're doing awesome, or no?
Sure.
Would you prefer?
I don't care who you mention.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's the girls, they're twin sisters. They're the Jamie twins. And I've been working with them for a long time. And I thought they were pretty genius. These girls not only do art, and they both art, which is disgusting because I want one of them to be awful at something, but they're both crazy talented. They're also writers, and they produce their own independent films and stuff. These girls are like early 20s, so they're off to like a big start. But they did a show. They did a gallery at my store, and it was all about Wonder Woman, and they made it like you went into a history museum, and there were all these like artifacts, almost like she was real, which, we want to pretend she's real. So you're like reading it like she really lived and seeing all these things she did. And then underneath it, they were like, thanks for looking at our show. Here's some extra prints if you can't buy the originals. By the way, we want to do our next like historical fact thing, but it's either about Indiana Jones or Harry Potter. What would you prefer? And they had a little box where you could write what the next series was that they did. And they laid out 3 prints for each one to kind of get people's brains seeing what their idea was for the next with their art. And I'm not even joking. People were stoked, and you'd hear them fighting like, no, it should be Indiana Jones next. No way. Harry Potter's way cooler. And these girls live up in Seattle, so they shipped me everything and came out just for the weekend for their opening and flew back. But I was telling them, like, for the month it was there, people were getting so excited and being like, hey, I know you're not really done yet, but the 3 prints that are sitting there, are they for sale? And these girls started doing pre-orders for a gallery that didn't even happen yet, because they got them so excited with the visuals of what could be, that she ended up both girls ended up sending me like all the 3 Harry Potter prints. And they're like, we plan on doing like 20 more pictures to the series, but if we can bank on it right now, we don't want anyone to be disappointed. They want the prints. So they not only kept up with demand, they got their followers excited for the future, and also got way more followers through making it so neat and using us as an outlet because we're advertising for them. And it was just fun. It was all around like fun to watch two friends come in, look at the gallery, and then fight about what one was going to be next, what series. So it's a perfect like case of these girls are hungry for it. You can feel it. And then they're just genuine good girls. They're just really nice and they care about their followers. So, I mean, there you go. And to be quite honest, they're not shy, but they're a little, they giggle and they get a little, they blush when you tell them they're good. They do all that, but they are so nice. You're not turned off by it. You're not like, oh, they were a little too shy. They have the perfect personality to keep doing what they're doing.
So how do we
all
learn?
Of that.
So how do we learn to sell better? Like, how does someone who's introverted like that, like, what can they do? Assuming that we're behind the table looking down at our phones now, like, give me 3 keys of somebody that could do, like, at their next show to make them better at being able to be out there without freaking them out completely.
Okay, no problem. So one, like I said, some sort of giveaway, whether it's a simple thing, you don't have to see them again later. Like a raffle, you're like, I'm having the raffle at 3, make sure you come back. It's too hectic. Something simple. Like I said, guess how many of this are in a jar and you get a free print. I'm taking a survey. What's your favorite one? And I'll give you a button. A simple giveaway that's easy to manage, even because if your table gets really busy, you need to make it simple. So be ready to go. And original art is always a good thing to give away if that is your thing. If you're writing or doing that, you'll find what's best for you. So something original that no one else is going to get because it's the only one. Number 2, I know we're on our phones. I understand, and engaging people is really tough, but standing. I know it's like the hardest thing ever to do because you're tired, but standing always helps. It makes it more approachable. They're not looking down at you. If somebody does come over, make sure you put your phone away because you need to give them, that's your future customer. You got to make sure you're engaged with them all the time. Number 3, I don't even know.
Before you go to number 3,
yeah.
I do take exception with number 2 because I am 6'4", and standing is off. And I mean, I'm not a menacing 6'4", but 6'4" is just menacing in and of itself.
Sure.
There are exceptions to this rule. Like, if you are very, very tall and you come across, I don't know, passionately or aggressively, or you use a lot of motions to people that can come across as potentially threatening. Like, I don't think that it's bad to sit down because of that scenario. But generally, I agree with you. But
yes,
I'm very tall and loud and gregarious and boisterous and passionate and intense, and like standing, like I end up like leaning over a table to people a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah, no, this is very true. It's so funny you would say that because I didn't think about it. But what you could do in that scenario is once in a while stretch your legs. I'm using air quotes as I do this. Stretch your legs. Stand for about, a few minutes. Make sure you just say hi to. That's the other thing is don't do the creepy hi where you're like, hi, you want to come over? Hi. Okay, you're walking past me. Okay, no problem. I'm just more like, hey, what's up? Like your shirt, giving compliments, whenever I see it. But yeah, you can sit most of the time if you're extremely awesomely tall, which we're all jealous of. The third thing, and this is actually by a guy named Lamont Hunt. He goes by Dakota Kid. He and I have become pretty good friends, and I met him at a Long Beach Comic-Con. And he is extremely passionate about his art, and he loves it. And just his art is so fun. It's basically fan art. But he uses kids on a playground. And, when kids are pretending to be He-Man, it's kind of like that. We're seeing a He-Man as a kid on the playground, and it's supposed to be kids' imagination. So he does a really, really cool spin on fan art, which I love. He actually hired a friend of mine who's a woodworker to build a display for a 6-foot table so it looks unlike any other 6-foot table in Artist Alley. It is still within the guidelines. It's totally different. It's not PVC pipe, which I'm not dissing. he used like all recycled wood on it, and he didn't spend a ton of money. The guy's name that built it is Greg Coddington, but he goes by Alleged Axe on Instagram, and he does a lot of woodwork. And basically, Lamont came in with this cool idea like, hey, I don't want my table being wasted. I want every part of it to have something. And he built like this cool box frame where he tucks all his prints underneath. And on the outside, he has the label for what his name is, like a sign. And then every part of this wood box has room to display, to put bins on, to just frame a couple pieces and have them around the box. And it's all like mismatched wood all over it. And it breaks down and he rolls it back out. And it's done in seconds. But guess what? When you walk up, you're like, what the heck? This thing is awesome. So creating something that looks completely different and is visually appealing, I think is like a new way. Like he stepped up the game so much. Because everybody else, they do the tall PVC pipe, hang their million prints across it, or they have the cubes, which I'm not, again, dissing any of it. I understand con life and you want to break down and get out of there quick. But I also think we are artists. Why not create something in that 6-foot space that is so cool people can't walk past you? They have to like come over using LED lights, using whatever you can to keep it exciting. And if you can, and you can follow Dakota Kid on Instagram and see that display, it is like the coolest thing. And it's not just because my friend made it. It is the raddest idea that now I'm going to step up my game if I start doing cons again, because I've kind of taken a break. But it's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do something like that now. With Designer Con, you can get really creative, which I love. You see stands and you're like, why didn't I think of that? Why can't I do that? And it makes you do better as an artist and the way you display and share your art. So yeah, those would be my 3 things right now. I mean, there's plenty more, but just to start, try to be unlike any other table. We've seen all the different displays. We know all the different companies like Displays to Go and all that, but try to create something that nobody else is doing, even with like your characters or something, a stand that shows who you are. So yeah, sorry, long story, but the point is it's awesome.
No, I love that. I love the making if you can't be comfortable speaking to people, then you're right. Yeah. Like you have to have your display speak for you and have a brand, because that's what a brand is. The brand speaks for you. So like if your brand needs to speak for you, and if you don't want to be like the other 900,000 people in Artist Alley doing the same exact prints, then you have to have a different spin on the way that you do your prints. Like the guy who does the depressed like superheroes.
Oh, Super Emo Friends, Jay Salvador.
Super Emo Friends. Like that's a completely unique take on the exact on what everybody does, and like he uses the kind of language that person would use, the kind of situations that person would get into, but completely unique take on the exact thing you see 900 times.
Yep. And you know what I told Jay, and this is a side note off of this, is I told Jay what's brilliant about what he's doing is he discovered something that is never ending. He will be able to keep up with pop culture, anything that's going on, reference old things. He can change Harley's saying 50 different times. It'll still be what she's saying. But, there are so many sad things that happen to all characters. Just one thing, you're like, oh, but he could have said this, and then he could have said that. And I told him it will never die. What he's doing is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
And the merch is like never ending as well. And because it's this unique take, he's probably pretty safe from like the takedown notices that most other people have, because I mean, to me, I know the murky area of fair use, but it feels like a very unique thing that he is doing, that he's using the characters in a fairer use way. I don't know if it's a fair use way than like other people, but he built this brand. Like you pass by it and like you said, you stop and you're like, wait, what is that? Is that the Hulk? And he's sad.
Yeah.
Oh, why is he sad? Oh, that is what the Hulk would say.
And it's like mad makes sad, and you just, it's so great. It's so great. And not only that, his display. From the day I first met him, his display has always been intriguing and exciting, and it displays so much in such a small space. You can see so many of his little pictures.
And beautifully too, because he does it in glass, like
Yep.
he does it not in the way that other people. My friend has this
That's right.
great one where he takes Star Wars pages, and he's an official Star Wars artist. For like Star Wars Celebration and such, and he draws the characters on old pages from Star Wars pulp books, and then he
that's
frames
cool.
them. And I was like, oh, that's completely unique. Like that's a thing I've never seen ever seen before. Someone doing it, and then now he does it with like other things that aren't Star Wars, but he started with Star Wars. Well, again, same sort of stuff. Like he's taking fan art and making a thing that you look and you're like, is that a Star Wars page? And that's the character that's on that page of that book. Like, it's just like a unique way. He has a brand he has the brand speak for him, and he doesn't speak as much as like I speak for sure, because I'm building my brand from scratch. But like, he did a unique thing that lets people come to his booth and stop and then be like, what is that thing? And then he engages in the conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about you as we wrap up, because you've been doing this for a while. Let's talk about your stuff and what you're about and what stuff you have coming up in the future and what you got going on right now.
Dude, I love you. Thank you. Me. No, we're just kidding. So on my own, I have Critterosity, and that's my own art, and I won't even go into that too much. I'd rather focus on Fan Alley. But yeah, for me, I just do cartoons. I hated people telling me I'd never make it in the art world, and I started just doing my own style. I found that different people like different styles, and people started to like my style, and boom, now I'm doing commissions. I actually have a commission tonight I have to finish, and I do people's pets, fan art, but I make it extremely cutesy, and it's not for everybody, and that's cool. And then I've got my Sasquatches. So that's me wrapped up in a nutshell, and then I try to sell at shows as well.
I love that, because like, you're right. If you like something, there's a pretty good bet that 10,000 other people like it too.
There you go.
In the world of 7 billion people, there's a pretty good chance you can make a living, even if because most people won't like you, and they won't. But
exactly,
even most people don't like Batman. I mean, So like, but if you have the unique style, like you said, and you accept that most people aren't going to like you, it makes it easier to find the people that do like you, and I love that.
That's right. That's right. It took me a long time to get comfortable with loving my art. Like I used to like my art. I didn't love it. And I'm not saying it again in a cocky way. I get done with a piece and I get very giddy and excited about it, and it's hard to give away once I'm done. So usually I'll make like a photocopy. So I'll just always have it in my binder of like, hey, I did that one day. And even though they have the real art, I have it here if I ever want to reference it or go back to it. I always wanted to be in animation growing up, and I grew up in a farm town in Northern California where we didn't have art classes or a mall or things to do. So my chances were very slim growing up. I was all self-taught, everything I did, which was okay, because now that I'm older and I've got all friends in animation, I'm like, oh, good, I'm glad I didn't get involved in that, because half of them either dislike it or they love it. They just hate the deadlines and having to draw somebody else's stuff the way they want. They don't get that freedom of doing their own thing. And I've also had people tell me they've lost who they were as an artist because they've been doing so much studio art. And sometimes I think it's a blessing that I just make money off of my own art. Yes, I do fan art, but I mean, I do it in my style and try to change it tremendously, so nobody could come after me and be like, you can't do that. And then
so
Fan Alley.
Before you get on there,
I
want to talk about Fan Alley, but I do want to say one thing about animation, because people are like, well, because one of the great things about animation, if you really look at it, is like Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and and the Justice League movie, and Happy Tree Friends and Powerpuff Girls are all valid forms of animation. No one would be well, that's not professionally done animation, but their styles are vastly different. There's 2D, there's 3D, there's Flash, there's others that I'm not going to go into because I can name them forever. But and just like animation, like art is the same way. So when people say, well, you can't make money on that kind of art, I'm like, well, have you ever seen the Powerpuff Girls? Like, that's a couple of circles and they're literally just shapes. Like they don't even have hands or feet. They just are shapes. That's it. So like if Powerpuff Girls, a regular show, can make a living, like they're as valid as the rest of them. They're people like that. So people will like almost any form of art because there are so many different forms of expression, even in animation.
That's
and
right.
Animation can make like actual like no one will be like, oh well, that show on television can't make any money, right? But like Meatwad is as valid as Batman.
Exactly. And I remember a big one was Ed, Edd and Eddy. People were like, the lines were all wiggly. It was weird. And I'm like, but talk to people that are obsessed with Ed, Edd and Eddy. Like they love that show. I mean, writing and animation all together, it worked. And people just like, oh, it was so wonky and wobbly, and I don't even know why it did good. But no, I'm right on board with you. You know, art is there. People put so much pressure on art as this thing. It is an expression. It's like music. Either like it or you don't. But you can't say that's not music or that's not this just because you don't like it. To somebody else, they're going to see it and hear it differently. So that's when I decided, I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do my art. And you know what? If they don't like it, they cannot follow me. I don't care, you know, or they don't buy it from me. But do they realize how many people do buy from me and how many people do write positive things? So those are the ones that keep me going. I'm doing it for the ones that love it. I'm not doing it for the ones trying to win them over. I don't care. I want the people that go, dude, I've been buying from you for like 3 years now. 2 sisters that bought from me at WonderCon 3 years ago almost, they show up to my shows and they spend like $150 on my stuff. And I like want to cry every time I see them because I'm like, oh my God, you guys love me so much. And I've been posting lately pictures of 2 of my little followers. They're like 5th grade and 6th grade. And I'm not joking. They like follow me. They will follow me to the end of the earth. So I try to make really positive choices if I've got kids watching me. But like, you know, I'm always encouraging them to do their art because they're into doodling and all that. And I wish I had had that as a kid. So I'm trying to do right by them. And also, you know, they want me to make something. I throw in something free because I want to show my appreciation to them, you know? So you just never know what's going to happen. And if your art can touch a few people's lives and change their day, like to me, that's it. I don't care about the masses. I just want those few dedicated people that are like, dude, I love everything you're doing. You're like, what? I'm a paid artist. I'm literally paid. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, to me, that's the best advice. That's the best lesson you can learn is like, doesn't matter who doesn't like you. All that matters is who does. And maybe in all of life, that's all that matters is like,
that's right.
Quit worrying about all the people that don't like you or don't care about you, or just focus on the ones that do and grow those people to the best you can. So now we've talked about your art, personal art, for way longer than you said you were going to, but I love it. So let's talk about no, it's not me. Hey, it's your show. I'm just here.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about Fan Alley because I know that's what you really want to talk about. That's what you said you wanted to talk
it's what I love most is basically, for anyone that doesn't know, Fan Alley was a store that I opened after my previous store with a friend, which was called A Little Known Shop. We closed due to her having a beautiful baby girl and me deciding I cater to the geek world and I'm trying to hone in on like my own crowd. And she was more kind of the Etsy crowd. We had left happily together. There was no bad blood. We both understood it was time to grow in our own ways. So that was cool. I opened Fan Alley. I had it for a little less than a year. What I started to realize was I'm sitting inside of a room waiting for people to come to me, and I could advertise as much as I wanted to on Instagram, through free websites, advertising, sharing, and guess what? I just sat there in a box all day with awesome merchandise, and I couldn't force people to come in. I was in a bad area. I wasn't visible to the street. I didn't have any signage, not because of my doing, but I didn't get any signage out on the street, so a lot of people didn't know where I was. And again, out of sight, out of mind. So I decided, look, there's Patchwork, there's cons, there's all these shows going on everywhere, and everyone's going to them. And it's taking the art to people now. So let's lose the overhead. Let's get rid of the store where I sell a ton of merchandise, the artists get paid, because I was a consignment store for artists. The small commission I was asking for was just paying my rent and my bills. I'm very open about what happened. There's nothing to be ashamed of. I didn't fail. I just realized it's not what was working for the shop. So I decided to do basically a pop-up shop and continue art shows and galleries that I'd already been hosting at my location. We would do mini artist alleys, have artists pop up, like I said, small fee, like $25. They bring their table, their canopies, sell their art, leave happily, and everybody was good. And keep it grassroots, keep it fun, keep it free for the attendees that were going, because I wanted their money to be spent on the artists. I wanted them to meet new artists and become fans, hence the name Fan Alley. So I closed my store in March of this year. I've been doing what's called the Artist Lodge, and if you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, I post too. I also have a website, shopfanalley.com. I share when the Artist Lodge is. We try to do it every month. We're taking July off due to San Diego Comic-Con and the Animation Expo. Anime Expo. And we're just kind of like going to wait it out because people are really busy going to those and also selling at them. So I'm not going to have vendors. We pick back up in August, and we'll have every third Saturday, August, September, October, where we rent out the Oddfellows Lodge in Anaheim. It's right down the street from Disneyland. So I encourage a lot of people, go to Disneyland, use your Disney passes, and then when it cools down from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, come to the Artist Lodge and spend your money, your time, eat some good food, buy awesome art, and we'll usually have a gallery or live art going on. We're going to start doing cosplay art drawing, where we're going to get cosplayers throughout the night to come in, and you can just pay a few bucks to the model, and you sit down and you draw them, and then after that hour, we rotate to a new cosplayer. So it's not just come and buy. It's not, here, come to the show, and the only thing to do is buy it from artists. You can also be involved in the gallery or whatever. So I've been really, really pushing it and trying to tell people, just because I closed an actual brick and mortar does not mean Fan Alley disappeared. I still have a ton of products that I had in the store. I take them to the Artist Lodge, and basically the front lobby is a Fan Alley pop-up shop. And then in the main room and out in the back is all artists selling their stuff, and it's usually catered to the con scene of people. It's your fan art and all that jazz. But then I also encourage people to buy original art, because we need to focus on artists as who they are, instead of always buying fan art. So it's another thing I always try to tell my artists, is to bring their original stuff too. And then we've got Two Sketchy Dames, which I'm involved in. And we do fan art galleries, or pop culture galleries, whatever, nostalgia. And we turn them into a deck of cards. And you can get all 52 pieces of art in a deck of card, like trading card deck. And we used to do the shows a lot. We've done Firefly, Don Bluth, a fantasy show from the 80s. This one is Fantastic Foes that's going to be opening in August. So it's the same night as our Artist Lodge from 4 to 9 at the Oddfellows Lodge in Anaheim. But yeah, we've got all third Saturdays. And then I have a puppet expo that's going to be coming up, and it's everything puppets, basically. I have some people from Jim Henson Creature Factory, a couple people that do it for Disney. They're puppeteers at Disney. They're going to be teaching workshops, and there will be a limited amount of tickets that you can buy to get into the workshop and leave with a puppet. We'll have puppet speed dating. So like the whole day is literally just silly and fun. And if you have puppets, you bring them. If you want to buy puppets, some people are selling puppets they make. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot I have so much going on. It's ridiculous. But every first Friday, we're at Comic Book Hideout in Fullerton. We do a gallery. And we pop up with the Fan Alley pop-up. Sometimes we have other artists, but last month it was just the Fan Alley pop-up. And right now we have the X-Files show going there. Next month is Sherlock, everything Sherlock. So, I mean, like, again, Instagram, Facebook, and my website, that's where you're going to see calendars or learn about what's coming up. Otherwise, people get very confused and go, there's too much. What's going on? But my whole thing is that I'm trying to bring art to people. And the newest thing I've been pitching is us coming to people's work. So if you have a rad job that thinks geek stuff's awesome or art is awesome, they just call me, schedule an appointment. We come out for free to set up at people's work on like maybe a Friday, a payday, lunchtime. They have a courtyard or they have somewhere we can set up, and we bring art to them and people shop, and then we break down and head out. So I'm open. I'm open to whatever. I love galleries and new places so that it gets our shoppers into new locations they've never been to. But yeah, I'm all about small business. I was small business forever, and I know how hard it is to get new people in. So it's my way to travel and share what we do. But that's it. I mean, I have more places I'm popping up, but those are the main ones that are very steady and constant. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Let us get out of here on this last note. Your best piece of advice you haven't given already. The remind us of where to find you online, and then we'll say goodbye.
Sure, no problem. If you guys want to follow us, it's shopfanalley.com, and that's FANALLEY. Bam.
What about on Instagram?
Oh, Instagram, Fan Alley. Just one word, FANALLEY. And we are on Periscope under the same name. And Facebook is also Fan Alley. We try to keep it all Fan Alley. Just our website has to be Shop Fan Alley.
Awesome.
So, thank you so much.
Hang on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
last
okay.
piece of advice before we get out of here. Last piece of parting advice.
Last piece. Oh, wait, what am I supposed to say? No.
What is your last piece of parting advice?
I don't even know. I feel like I've given all my advice.
All right. I'll let you cop out on it. I'll let you cop out a bit because you have given a ton of advice. And thank you so much, Eva, for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome. And thank you for what you do, because without you guys doing your podcast and all that, I mean, word doesn't always get out easily, and it's really important. So we appreciate it.
So that was Eva Sowinski. God, I really hope I'm saying that right. Because in a list of favorite guests that I've ever had on this show, she ranks at the top or near the top, because she dropped truth bombs and value bombs for being an artist, for actual practical advice for how to get your art seen by more people. And I think if you guys implement what she said, you guys can start making more money tomorrow. So thank you so much, Eva. Before we get out of here, I want to remind you guys that we're doing free, that's right, free 30-minute strategy calls with creative professionals at thebusinessofart.us/consultation. And if you want to check out what I personally am doing, head on over to russellnolte.com. I know most of what I do is I Want to Be Press and The Business of Art, but maybe you'll find something new about me you didn't know otherwise. I just launched this new site, and I would love to get your feedback. Otherwise, don't forget, we still have Spaceship Broken Needs Repairs on Kindle Scout. And if you nominate us by going to spaceshipbrokenbook.com, you'll get a free copy of the book, should it be chosen by Kindle Press. I win, I get some money from Kindle if they choose me. You win, you get a free book if you nominate me. It's a win-win. So head on over to spaceshipbrokenbook.com and see what it's all about today. And with that, wannabes and creators, I will see you next time. Have a great day.